Hello everyone, I hope you have all had a really great week and welcome back to my channel if you're one of my lovely and valued regulars. And if you're new here, then thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I hope you enjoy it, and I also hope that you stay with me and become one of my lovely regulars. I'm Mrs. Smith, I'm a Christian, and I walk about and talk about all sorts of things from a Christian point of view. So today I'm walking in Reculver Towers and Roman Fort in the village of Reculver on the coast near Herne Bay in Kent in the UK. The towers are 12th century and part of a former monastic church. I will say that some of this site has been lost to the sea now, but there is still much to see, and I'll put a link in the description where you can read more about this location. There is a short hill up to the towers, as you can see, but there are a couple of car parks and a pub at the bottom of that hill. Reculver Towers is open from 9 AM to 5 PM every day of the week, and it's managed by the English Heritage, but there's no entrance fee. However, the car parks are not managed by English Heritage, so you do have to pay for them. The car parks are pay and display, but if you have a blue badge, then parking is free for up to 3 hours. There is disabled access to the grounds as well, and there are also accessible toilets and a cafe here, as you will have seen. Dogs on leads are welcome, and you can also gain special access into the interior of the towers on certain days, but you will need to check out the English Heritage website for more details about that. Now, what I'm talking about today is another one of those potentially controversial subjects, so I will say that my views may not be your views, and that is fine, but I will always tell you what I believe as a Christian. So, is gossip always bad? Well, what is gossip? Well, the dictionary definition of gossip is this. It says casual or unconstrained conversation or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true. Now, that part is vitally important. So gossip is not confirmed as being true. Christians see gossip, all gossip really, as wrong. But do stick with me, because later on I will, as I sometimes do, give you a however, because there is something really important that I do want to say, so please do stick with me if you can until the end of my video. The Christian Bible does talk about gossip. It says that gossip violates the principles of love and respect. It says that gossip goes against the command to love your neighbour as yourself by speaking ill of someone behind their back. Gossip is a form of slander, really. It can involve false witness and is actually a direct violation of the 9th commandment. I think it's the 9th in the Bible. Gossip is destructive as well, it can destroy friendships and family bonds and communities, groups, or even church. The Bible warns that a gossip separates close friends. That's in Proverbs chapter 16 if you want to look it up. Gossip often involves, distorted or biased versions of the truth, or half-truths, or even outright lies, and the Bible states that God detests lying lips. That's also in Proverbs, I think that's chapter 12. The Christian Bible also says that gossip reveals a heart issue. Jesus teaches in the book of Matthew, chapter 12 again, that out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what's in your heart comes out your mouth. So it can really uncover who we are as people inside. And gossip can be a symptom of a much deeper problem, like, attention seeking or pride or even envy. So gossip, in its truest form, remember, information which is not confirmed as being true, is a sin in the eyes of God. The Bible lists gossip alongside other serious sins as well, and verses like Romans 1, verse 29, I think it is, place gossip in a list of behaviours that God does not like. And as Christians, you know, we're encouraged to use our words to build people up, not tear them down. We should be promoting peace, not encouraging conflict, right? So whatever we feel we need to say about others, we need to make sure that we're not talking about someone in a negative way. And more than that, we need to make sure we are not enjoying what we're saying about someone or reveling in sharing whatever it is that we're about to share because we like a good old bit of gossip or because we get a kick out of it. That is why the Bible is clear on why gossip, in its truest form, is wrong. However, see, I told you I would put a however in here, and there is a really good reason for that. And this is where I'm going to get a bit serious. I want to say that speaking true and genuine facts about something that has happened to you personally isn't gossip. And it isn't an attack on the person you're speaking about either. It's a truth, a reality, a fact. Speaking your truth, if someone has genuinely treated you badly, is not gossip. There's a huge difference between gossiping about someone and finally speaking up about how someone has hurt you personally. And I'm using the word personally there because it's how someone has hurt you personally, not how you've heard about they've hurt your friend personally. Do you see the difference? And I feel like that is incredibly important to say here. You know, reality can cut deep, especially when it forces someone to face the truth about who they've been or what they've said or how they have behaved. But sometimes it is vital that that truth comes out. Yes, staying silent instead of gossiping is always best. However, silence can sometimes protect the wrong people. Silence can shield those who have caused pain, while punishing those who have had to experience that pain. And sometimes staying quiet to keep the peace doesn't really keep the peace at all, because if that peace is built on lies or manipulation or control, it isn't peace. It is just that, control. And I feel like that is an incredibly important point to get across. So I just wanted to explain the difference between genuine gossip and speaking your truth. And sometimes that difference might be obvious, right? But sometimes it might not. So how do we test if what we're about to say is just a bit of gossip? Well, I can only tell you what I try to do. I say to myself, am I saying bad things about someone? Or is what someone did to me bad and I'm sharing my truth? You know, if someone has tried to hurt us or tried to be destructive in our lives and we are afraid of sharing that truth, I feel like it's helpful for us to remember that truth isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You know, truth isn't bitterness, it's closure. Speaking your truth doesn't make you a bad person, and it's not a sin to do that. It makes you brave enough to stop protecting someone who never protected you. And it's also good for us to remember that if that person didn't want people talking about the bad things they did to you, then maybe they shouldn't have done them in the first place, right? So personally, I feel like whilst we need to not gossip about people, because I believe that gossip in its truest form, when it involves details that are not confirmed as being true, is always bad. But one day, we might need to be brave enough and willing to speak the truth about someone who has hurt us or damaged us personally. Because speaking that truth about someone who has hurt or damaged us is never bad. In fact, it takes bravery and it takes courage. Thank you so much for walking and talking with me again today, and please do hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe too if you haven't already. It would really help me out. But until next time, Please really do take care of yourselves, and God bless you all. Bye.